The man who defied the spirits for compassion. Long ago, in the serene town of Aburi, nestled amidst Ghana's lush green hills, lived a wise and deeply spiritual man named Nii Akwei. He was a devout custodian of the Akan traditions, spending his days meditating under the sacred baobab trees and seeking harmony with the spirits of the land. Lin Samanfo. But the ever-growing noise and quarrels of the townsfolk often disrupted his peace. Believing that their discord polluted his soul, Nii Akwei resolved to embark on a sacred journey to purify himself. He decided to visit the legendary shrine of Onyankopon on Mount Krobo, a place said to hold the key to ultimate spiritual enlightenment. With nothing but his walking stick, a calabash of water, and a small pouch of kente-wrapped kola nuts, Nii Akwei began the grueling trek. The path to Mount Krobo was treacherous, filled with rocky trails and thorny bushes, but the thought of spiritual purity spurred him on. Upon reaching the shrine, Nii Akwei offered his kola nuts and recited prayers in deep Twi. The peace he felt was unlike anything he had ever experienced. Determined to hold on to this purity, he resolved to make this pilgrimage 99 more times. Each trip, he vowed, would be made in solitude and silence. For weeks, Nii Akwei kept his promise. He traversed the trails under the scorching sun and through heavy rains. As he deepened his devotion, he began to sense the spirits that dwelled in the land. The whispering wind, the chirping birds, and the rustling leaves seemed alive with unseen forces. But his strict vow of silence prevented him from speaking to anyone, human or spirit. One evening, after his 80th pilgrimage, Nii Akwei was descending Mount Krobo when he heard a mournful wail echo through the hills. It was the cry of a woman. He paused, torn between his quest for purity and the pangs of compassion in his heart. Ignoring the cries, he walked on, but the sobs grew louder, each one piercing his soul. Finally, he veered off the trail, following the sound to a clearing. There, under a crooked palm tree, he found a young woman named Abina, weeping beside a lifeless body wrapped in faded cloth. Through her tears, Abina explained, "This is my mother. She passed away at dawn, but no one will help me bury her. They fear her spirit will bring them misfortune." Nii Akwei's heart ached. He knew that touching the dead would render him spiritually impure. Yet, he could not ignore Abina's despair. Summoning his courage, he helped dig a grave and laid Abina's mother to rest beneath the palm tree. Together, they sang ancient funeral dirges, ensuring the old woman's safe passage to the ancestors. Though the burial brought Abina solace, it left Nii Akwei tormented. He had broken his vow and sullied his spirit. Guilt-ridden, he hurried back to the shrine of Onyankopon, seeking cleansing. To his surprise, the usually tranquil shrine was bustling with villagers, all gathered around a powerful priestess known as Okomfo Afia. She was said to commune directly with the spirits. Nii Akwei stayed at the edge of the crowd, fearful that his impurity would be exposed. But Okomfo Afia turned to him, her eyes gleaming with otherworldly knowledge. "You," she called, her voice firm yet inviting. "Come forward." Trembling, Nii Akwei approached. He knelt before the priestess, bracing himself for condemnation. Instead, Okomfo Afia smiled and took his hands in hers. "The spirits have witnessed your kindness," she said. "True purity lies not in avoiding the unclean, but in embracing compassion. Onyankopon smiles upon you." Nii Akwei returned to Aburi a changed man. No longer bound by his rigid quest, he began to help his neighbors, tending to the sick, comforting the grieving, and sharing wisdom with the young. He saw the divine in every act of kindness and learned that the path to true enlightenment was not in isolation, but in service to others. Though whispers spread of his newfound ways, Nii Akwei kept the priestess's words to himself. He knew that each soul had to discover its own journey to understanding. Nii Akwei's transformation became the talk of Aburi. Those who once avoided him out of respect for his solitude now sought him out for guidance. His small hut on the edge of the forest turned into a gathering place for the troubled and the weary. With every story he heard and every burden he eased, Nii Akwei felt his spirit grow lighter. One day, as the Harmattan winds swept through the hills, Abena returned to him, her face radiant with joy. "Nii Akwei," she said, "because of your help, I was able to start anew. The harvest has been bountiful, and I have come to thank you." She placed a woven basket filled with yams, palm oil, and smoked fish before him. Nii Akwei smiled, but before he could speak, a sudden gust of wind shook the trees around them. The air grew heavy, and a soft glow illuminated the forest. From the shadows emerged an old woman cloaked in ethereal light. It was Abena's mother, her spirit radiant and peaceful. "Nii Akwei," she said, her voice like the rustling of leaves. "Your kindness allowed me to pass safely into the ancestral realm. The ancestors have sent me to deliver a message." Nii Akwei fell to his knees. "Speak, mother," he said reverently. "The spirits say you have fulfilled your earthly purpose," she said. "You have taught your people that true purity lies in compassion and service. But your journey is not yet over. The ancestors call you to join them, where your wisdom will guide others in the spirit world." Abena gasped, tears streaming down her face. "Does this mean you will leave us?" Nii Akwei placed a comforting hand on her shoulder. "Every life must complete its circle," he said gently, "but my spirit will remain with you in every kind deed, in every act of love." That evening, Nii Akwei called the townsfolk to the sacred baobab tree in the heart of Aburi. There, he shared his final words of wisdom. "Let the spirits of kindness and unity dwell among you," he said. "Do not fear impurity, for it is the heart's intention that truly matters." As he finished, the ground beneath the baobab trembled slightly, and a beam of moonlight enveloped him. Slowly, his body faded, leaving behind only his staff and a faint echo of his voice. "Live with compassion, and you will honor the spirits." Though he was gone, Nii Akwei's legacy lived on. The townsfolk carved his teachings onto wooden tablets and placed them in the shrine of Onyankopon. His story became a lesson passed down through generations, reminding all who heard it that true purity lies in love and selflessness. Abena, inspired by Nii Akwei's sacrifice, became a healer and a guide for the community, carrying forward his mission of compassion. Every year, during the Harmattan season, the people of Aburi gathered under the baobab tree to celebrate his life, singing dirges and sharing stories of his wisdom. And so Nii Akwei, the sage of Aburi Hills, continued to inspire, his spirit woven into the fabric of the land, a beacon of hope and kindness for all who walked the path of life.